Somewhere in the untied states, a strange S-shaped sinkhole suddenly appeared. Furthermore, the scientists at the scene also discovered a fossil similar to an ancient creature. Through the process of research and discovery, shows that the hardness of this fossil is 10 times higher than of a diamond, but it does not belong to any type of creature that humans know. But through the veins on the fossil, it can be seen that it resembles dragon scales. Recorded in the Red Book, everyone immediately sweated coldly. This made them suddenly remember the legend of that era. According to tradition, when humans were first born, there existed two giant blankets thousands of meters long, divided into a white blanket representing justice and a black python representing retribution for evil. The two of them have been fighting each other for thousands of years just to compete for the dragon pearl given by God. If they have it, they will turn into a dragon, gaining the power to dominate everything in the world. Until 500 years ago, God transferred the dragon balls to the human world and merged it with a little girl. This also ended the war that lasted thousands of years, because in order to prevent the dragon ball from being taken away by the black python, God sent the strangest fighter to protect this dragon ball girl. In the blink of an eye, 20 years later, that little girl has now become a young lady. The beautiful and silent young woman and the young warrior went to the end of their lives. But when they were looking forward to a happy life in the future, the black python felt NGOC dragon breath and immediately killed him, immediately sent an army of monster to invade the entire small village. The monster army was not only strong in number but also well equipped. While humans were still using the sword of the monster, they were able to use artillery shells with orders from the leader. The artillery shells rained heavily on the village because the strength of the two sides was so different that the villagers basically had no way to launch an effective attack very quickly. The monster army entered the village. Not only did they kill all the men, but they also gathered all the young girl together and then stripped off their clothes, looking for the girl with the dragon birthmark on her body, not knowing that the strongest warrior had taken that girl away from here. But in the end they still couldn't escape the pursuit of the black legs, because in order to protect the world from disaster, the two of them chose to jump off the cliff to commit suicide. Because of that, he also missed the opportunity to transform into a dragon. The next version of NGOC dragon is today, 500 years later. This girl named Sarah's will be the next reincarnation of NGOC dragon in a few days. She will celebrate her 20th birthday, but as the time gets closer and closer, Sarah's vaguely feels that something terrible is happening that scares her so much that she hides in the fried room full of charms in the city. Today, a mysterious sinkhole appeared in the city. Scientists at the scene discovered a fossil, but they couldn't understand it 10,000 times because that type of fossil did not belong to any other type of fossil that humans knew. People already knew, and now at the zoo, there was an extremely terrifying scene, only to see a mysterious creature eating an elephant weighing several meters. Tambawan immediately took off his pants. It was so lucky to see him. He was so small that he couldn't fit between its teeth, so he was able to escape with his life. But when he went to the police station to explain the situation, no one believed what he said and was even arrested, considered him a psychopath, and then directly took him to a mental hospital. Seeing that the situation was not right, he had to confess that it was all his fault. However, just when the doctor was about to let him go, the black python, the giant python, hundreds of meters long, was using its huge body to surround the entire hospital, and its goal was to find this girl. She is the reincarnation of the Jade dragon. As long as she merges her body with it, the blackhead can transform into a dragon and gain the power to dominate everything in the world. But at this time everyone still does not know that a disaster is coming to him. Fat was the only person who could see this giant monster, but he was also captured and taken to a mental hospital. But a second later, the giant python suddenly rushed into the hospital hallway and immediately became chaotic. Sarah ran one step ahead to the basement where the reincarnated person from 500 years ago, but very quickly the blanket chased here wherever its large body went through the stone walls. The sharp column immediately collapsed. Fortunately, the small space limited its speed. They were able to escape from here, but the appearance of the black moon directly caused 47 casualties. It caused trauma. So the superiors sent an elite army to hunt it down, but when they saw its true giant form, they were all scared to death and found it difficult to attack and cause harm for this giant python. At this time, the giant python protective army also arrived. The entire squad was immediately destroyed. At this time, Sarah's, with the help of the hypnotist master, successfully returned memories of 500 years ago. Now I know that I am the reincarnated girl of NGOC dragon. But at this moment, the silhouette of a giant blanket appears, two people and a python, performing a scene of chasing each other on the street anywhere. The blanket went through the small cars and echoed everywhere on the street, causing a series of fires and explosion. Everything was completely out of control. The two of them were quick-witted and quickly climbed to the top of the building, but very quickly were caught by the python. Realized that today was Sarah's 20th birthday. Dragon ball inside her body. She had completely transformed into a python. She could determine their location by monitoring their breathing. Luckily, the rescue helicopter was just in time, arrived at the right time. But as soon as it flew up, the blanket opened its giant mouth and bit the helicopter, pulling it down compared to the human helicopter in front of it like a toy. Seeing that the situation was not good, Sarah's took the risk of jumping out of the helicopter, but their helper was not so lucky. The two of them quickly fell into the trap of the giant blanket, who immediately let out a triumphant scream. Today it can transform into a dragon and then becomes the ruler of the world. The sky is also covered with dark clouds amid the roar of this blanket, which also means that disaster is something that humans cannot avoid at this time. Fighter planes Apache suddenly flew towards them and attacked. It was crazy with firepower as strong as the giant blanket also felt that it was being threatened. And suddenly roared one last painful roar after humans lost a fight. The giant blanket also fell heavily to the ground because of its lack of physical strength, thinking that the disaster had been averted, but he did not expect that the giant blanket would not stop screaming at this moment. Countless armies of lizard gods flew in under his superiority. In terms of their numbers, the riders were destroyed immediately, but these were just the beginning. Then the army of the back moon also invaded the city in large numbers. As soon as they arrived, they began to destroy them, only to see that the city was about to be destroyed. A large number of armed forces were present immediately under the shout of orders from the leader. The war between humans and demons had officially begun, and the whole city was engulfed in a sea of buildings. High-rise buildings were immediately destroyed. People panicked and could only restrain Mache, although after 500 years of development, human equipment has become different from previous things, but humanity still cannot resist. Received the attack of the last demon army after a fierce firefight. Humanity suffered another miserable defeat. Even Ceres was captured by the Domans. A grand sacrifice ceremony began. Is an ancient python that has swallowed 800 people alive only to see it slowly walk towards the altar. Now just need to eat the jade dragon girl. It can turn into a dragon, then it can dominate everything in the world. Just see your girlfriend about to be eaten. The man immediately burst out with Griified power in his roar, yet he activated the guardian badge on his chest. Then a powerful energy struck down from the sky and quickly accumulated along with the badge. Immediately afterwards, the world-destroying power quickly spread everywhere. The demon army, not knowing what was happening, immediately turned into dust and flew away. Even the black python also having fallen into a coma, the leader suddenly lost his mind. He decided to personally take the dragon ball from Sarah's body and go out on his behalf. The male protagonist arrived at the right time, but he was basically no opponent for the leader. After that, he even went to the point of wanting to kill him. That was the result, but he accidentally cut off the powerful energy badge that immediately took him to meet God. But at this time, the black python woke up and immediately attacked him. Right after that, when it was about to eat the dragon pearl, the white dragon, the embodiment of good, appeared and then picked it up and threw it far away. This war has been going on for thousands of years. Today, it finally happened. It was a fateful battle and immediately the two pythons rushed into battle, an earth-shattering battle. Although the black python was seriously injured, it was clear that it was still the master. Very quickly it bit the white python and it bit the snake. The white blanket then smashed it to the ground. The white blanket couldn't breathe and immediately fell into a coma. The black python raised its face to the sky and roared loudly, emitting a sound of victory. Seeing that the world was about to face disaster, Sarah decided not to hide anymore because from the moment she was born, her mission was to save the world. Then a dazzling white color emanated from her body and then slowly a round gem appeared into the air. This made the black python become interested, but when it was about to swallow it, Sarah used all her strength to put the dragon ball into the white python mouth. The black python immediately became angry and wanted to kill the white python before evolving. But it was already too late when the white python skin gradually peeled off. Sharp iron dragon claws on its four limbs quickly emerged. At this time, the white python had finally evolved into an invincible dragon, the black blanket. At this time, it was completely suppressed by the dragon god. But it did not give up and continued to fight. As a result, it was bitten by the dragon god in one shot. He threw it away so cruelly that even if it died, it would not surrender and took advantage of the god opportunity. The dragon flew into the sky. It jumped up and bit the dragon god tail. This aroused anger in the dragon god. He directly worshipped the ultimate table, the strong breath of the dragon. The fire immediately made the blanket hurt. The pain was so quick was burned to dust. The dragon war for thousands of years finally ended for real, and then the dragon god released the dragon ball from there, summoning Sarah's soul back after the two said goodbye. In the end, Sarah's soul completely merged with the dragon ball after the dragon ball turned around and flew into the sky. This the end of the movie. Everyone, remember to like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on new content. News movie. Bye bye.